Randy Wynn, 2412 Barker Parkway. I didn't come with any agenda, but in listening to the meeting tonight, I have a couple of comments. I would raise a voice of caution on this. What do you call the plan? The
Form-based.
The form-based plan. I like the looks of a city like that, but the cautions I would raise is our Washington Boulevard is a big thoroughfare for getting people home to their homes. And when you pinch that down and start making it a slow road that goes through, that's a luxury that I wonder if we have. You know, I think the citizenry might object to that because it will bottle things up. We'll end up with lines on it at lights. The other thing is that I'm an old retailer myself. I wonder if it limits access for customers to come to these things. And I've been up to Brigham City and so forth. And when you go down a block to turn into Park, it's not a very attractive block on the back side. You really mess up the looks of the city that way, I think. And the point about the weather here is another good point. The other thing I thought of is, you know, it's not like everybody's going to come rushing at us. You guys have to reach out to get people to come to our city with their businesses, and many businesses aren't going to want to do that. Their businesses, like the car wash, like the auto parts shop, those things are not. Usually, you have boutiques and you have ice cream shops, and that's kind of nice. You know, that we all like to walk that kind of thing. But in San Jose, we used to go to Los Gatos to do that because that was that kind of a community. You know, I'm not so sure that we'd get people to come and fill those shops, and I think we'd be restricting business that would come. And the other, you may have discussed while I've had to run out for another thing, the existing businesses we have. I mean, we just built several nice big buildings, you know, and maybe you talked about that, but how do you get that continuity? And it seems like a very expensive kind of a project too. But I think we could find ourselves trying to stretch that far and get business to come. And I think we'd be well beyond your terms. I think we'd be beyond some of our life terms to get people to fill up that big of a thing. We have Ogden. We are, you know, we are a bedroom community outside, and I don't know that we need to. I just think very carefully about this because, as has been pointed out, once you decide this, it's hard to switch it around again. I thought those points were very good, and we could lock ourselves into something that would constrict us as a city and be not for our benefit. Anyway, that's my point. I do like the concept of that street with, you know, and the things that we've already dressed up. I support those kind of things, and as Blake points out, as we can afford them, I think we should continue to do that because that does give our city a definition without having to go full bore to a form-based thing. Anyway, I just think carefully on that. Thanks.
Thank you for your comments. I would point out that I was in Fort Collins not too long ago, and they have this kind of a downtown by the university and so forth, and it was just packed with people going to these smaller businesses. That's one thing I have observed. So, yes.
Brenda Ashdown, 193 East Pleasant View Drive. No offense to these men. I appreciate you guys tonight. This was such a boring meeting. I just want to say thank you for what you do.
Thank you. It was designed that way. Any other comments? Seeing none, we'll move on to the next item. Council, mayor, and staff comments, starting with Councilman Turner.
Not a whole lot other than the lighting ceremony I thought was very enjoyable. I thought that they had the timing perfect when they flipped the switch. It was a very nice.
And the lights turned on.
And the guy who hosted it, that was in charge of it, man, he did a fantastic job, Mayor. He did great.
Except for the goofy guy in the green hat,
So
with the tree on his head.
it's gonna bear its ugly head another day.
I liked it also. Thank you. Councilman Severie?
I don't have anything tonight.
Okay. Councilman Barker?
The only thing I've noticed is that light's still flickering out on Washington. Yeah, by 7-Eleven.
Last time I drove by, it was totally out.
Oh,
Up by the car lot.
Yeah,
Okay.
it was flickering, then it worked,
Note
and then
that.
it flickered again.
it's really noticeable now that it's dark at 5 o'clock.
Dark 30.
We'll get Public Works working on that one. Thank you.
They got nothing better to do.
Okay.
Don't tell them I said
Snow
that.
coming
Right.
in, right?
Councilman Swanson?
No, just thanks to everybody that came to the meeting last night. It's great to see a good turnout. Great to see a good turnout, and thanks for staying civil.
So, I
Could have
had
gotten ugly
another,
very quickly.
well, Phil, I had another meeting I had to go to for the mosquito abatement. How did it, I mean, how many people came out and stuff? I was,
There was maybe, 75 or 100 people there? Maybe 200? Probably close to 200.
Does it come in and out?
I was disappointed when I got there. I thought it was going to be more of the presentation and then question and answer, and it was really just kind of a meet and greet with storyboards up, and you could ask questions of individuals at the boards. So it wasn't very formalized. Well, I don't know if I ought to say it, but it was one comment I heard from a couple of people who are big in business is that it was kind of amateurish, was the word I got from a couple of people that were there. Lots of individuals, lots of opportunity to talk. But, yeah, I wasn't impressed. Impressed by the turnout, but.
Phil did save the meeting, though.
What's that?
I said you did save the meeting.
Oh, I didn't save the meeting. No, people saved it by being civil. Yeah, they did it themselves. That's all I have.
Thank you.
There'll be more meetings coming, right? Stephanie, you're gonna help us know when those meetings are, and we'll keep them posted, and,
Still looking for some good answers.
yeah.
Just information. It's frustrating.
Well, yeah, there's been more questions again last night without solid answers, any answers,
We don't know that yet.
right?
Steph, was Megan going to be at tonight's meeting?
Yes, she's there.
Okay.
With her,
Thank you.
is she gonna make another grand entrance?
I don't know, but you know, that was. It's Meg.
That was pretty good last night.
Where you go, oh, that was fun, okay. Now we can all chat.
Yeah, it even caught James by surprise.
Thank you for all that you and Megan do to keep. It's just awesome, so thanks.
Thanks.
Council-
Information is really powerful. It's good to know what's going on and have answers.
You know, I thought it was interesting last night. I had, many citizens approach me, and I think that there's this idea that the city council and maybe even staff know everything. We really don't.
I think that that's being realized for sure.
I know as much about that project as you do. And in fact, you probably know more because of your digging. So we're not the know-all, see-alls on these events.
Anyway, I don't know if I'm supposed to be commenting or talking, but
Well, I just want you to know that we appreciate
yeah,
it.
Councilwoman Stoker?
For once, I do. I have a few things.
No, no.
That's too big a list.
We're gonna change roles
It's my
tonight.
turn.
I'm gonna turn you around.
A couple of things. Will you please, and I know it's winter time, but will you, John, please remind Dave of the trees in front of the Public Works building? The scape to get something going. We've promised them for how many years now, and nothing's done yet.
Okay.
And say please and thank you for me. And then, as I was called out of the meeting, one of our former representatives has been, that's just been elected, wanted to know if the council and would be give a go-ahead or not, and it would go along with the form-based code. He is willing to go to bat for us to get the speed limit dropped from 1,700 down to 45.
That'd be awesome.
So that would take one hurdle out of our
45
way.
or 35?
I said we wanted to go to 35, and he said he was willing to go to bat if we wanted him to.
That's on Washington?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Do we want to make that kind of a, we don't want to make that kind of decision right now, do we?
We've already dropped it
You've
to
already
40.
you've had two deaths there. 2 children were killed because it was the speed limit.
Okay, so
Probably deactivated. It would start about 1,700 north,
and
But
go
that-
southbound or northbound?
come northbound
Come
into our
northbound.
city.
It's not that much further than it already is.
It starts at 2,300 instead of.
Yeah, it goes to 40 at 2,300, yeah.
So you could drop it to 45 and then just do the 40 and on down like it does, but
Step it down, yeah.
step it down. Anyway, but that's what he wanted to know, so.
Maybe another discussion item for the 18th?
Okay.
How big's our agenda?
Okay.
I think there's bound to be space.
Okay, that's all.
Thank you. I have no other comments. John?
Yeah, this is just information. So Brandon Miles, who is our prosecutor, he works for the county full-time and us part-time. He received an award today from Jeff Sessions, the U.S. Attorney General. It's the 2018 Utah Project Safe Neighborhoods Award. Anyways, that's based on his work as a federal prosecutor. And he has also he's in Kansas City right now being awarded something else, but we don't know what it is, but it's at an award ceremony that the president will be at. So it's some sort of national recognition as well. So we will update you on that as well.
Nice.
But if you don't know Brandon, he's a great prosecutor, nice guy. In the community, he's well liked by attorneys and judges, and usually defendants don't like the prosecutors, but he's not hated, I guess is probably the right way to say it. So we're really lucky to have him working with us.
Thank you. Annette?
Council, I don't know if you saw my email, but we have 5 applications for the mayor's seat. Janice Christensen, Stephen Huntsman, Julie Anderson, Sean Casey, and Brent Chuck. And those interviews will be January 8th, and I'll send out an email with the questions you've asked before if you want to add other ones or get rid of some of those or just whatever.
Are you sending out the applications as well for us to review?
I am.
Okay.
And just so it's clear, Mayor Chug won't get a copy of those questions.
No.
And he also won't. So when in that process, Councilwoman Stoker will handle that because the way we did it last time for Sarah Fossen's seat, all the candidates were out of the room, and I think if the council's okay, we'll do the same thing, and it'll just be that same format.
You vote the same way. You vote for your choice, and we take the 2 highest vote getters, and then you vote from those 2, 1.
There was some confusion last time. Will it be a secret ballot or a public ballot?
It is. You will do it. You'll write it on a piece of paper. John and I will count them.
Okay.
Anything else?
Huh? That's it.
Okay.
Oh no. Next Tuesday is the Christmas party.
Okay.
And when will we be getting registration for League of Cities?
It won't be out for another
Month or
2
so?
months.
2 months,
But
okay.
I will get your hotels. Council, I just want to put a word into for the Utah League. It's not always that the classes are great. It's the information and the networking you get from those that attend to help our city out in different areas, that you become familiar with those other elected officials and what's going on in their cities that help us out in our city.
I enjoyed it when I went in the fall. So
Sign me up.
It's worth going. Yep.
I'm gonna sign you all up, and then you'll just tell me if you can go or not.
I'm happy to, I can come this next year.
Okay.
Thank you. Anything else from the group? If not, I'll entertain a motion for adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second. Boy, you're fast.
There's been a motion to adjourn and been seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Meeting adjourned.
He's excited to have court back. I heard that the other day, and I asked my son. He says, I don't